Hello guys, how are we doing and welcome back to the channel. This video is such a contrast to my last one in that we're playing 2 platinums and 2 diamonds while we've got 2 crimsons and 2 diamonds on the team. Super weird, and as you can imagine, we do 100-point club them. I play the game really fundamentally well. I could have had a much more impressive stat line if I pulled out a sub and got really aggressive because I didn't really lose any one-on-ones here. But I thought, you know what? It's going well. I'm playing fundamentally correct, and it'll make a really nice video to show how you can play 6-star hardpoint and give your team the best ideals of spawns and rotate properly, and how you can just play around the map without, being that gung-ho player. If you're not quite as skilled as the teammates you might have and you want to play that a little bit more of a passive approach, controlling the map, this is going to show you just how to do that. But yeah, before we get into it, have you guys been in a situation like this? Have you been a plat player finding that you're coming against crimsons, or are you a crimson or higher player finding you're coming against players you shouldn't be coming against, and it ends up being a really uncompetitive game like we've got here, which causes a 100-point club? For me, it's only really started happening in Season 4, and at the end of the day, it's almost 3 SR. However, I do like my games to be a little bit more competitive. It does get a bit boring playing plats because, no offense, when you've got 2 crimsons and 2 diamonds, it's almost, even the plats players are probably loading anything, we've got no chance of winning. But these guys, to be fair, individually put up a decent fight, but we won the most fundamental rotations, we held the most money hills, and it just ended up making that we won by over 150 points. So yeah, that's enough of the spiel at the intro. Let's kick it off with what's going on here. So the 2 main spawns and the role I'm sort of playing here is to be a support on the hill. Now, I don't usually like to sit in the hill, but my position in the initial, rotation of the hills meant that I've been sat in that vent, and as a result, I'm trying to just, stop them from hitting this side of the hill. Moving on to the P3, there's some really fundamental spawns you're going to want to try and capture at P3. So P3, if you guys don't know, is a real money hill. It has a it has a hill up here, and in order to control that hill, you have to guarantee these spawns back here. Now, when you do have these spawns back here for this P3, the enemy team end up spawning all the way back here, which means they've got to either take a route up the outer steps, over the hop up, which is just going to get them killed because you've got a mantle over, or take a really long route through mid. So either way, you want these back spawns here to guarantee the easiest push at this hill. I'm going to touch on this a little bit more later, but if this is also blocked by teammates, the spawn opens up here, so you've got to be very careful that if you've got teammates here and here, the enemy team will spawn middle, so I'm just very cautious of that. But what I'm doing here, I'm flanking all the way around to just try and obtain these spawns initially. So we're trying to see if anyone's sort of picking this up, because a good player should be picking up this hand side because they should know this is where people should be pushing. I don't seem to find anyone in the depths. However, they do have a lone player playing a really good off angle there and just stopping me to guarantee those spawns. Now, you'll notice I've just spawned in the middle of the map. And if you look back at my diagram, you'll notice that if you spawn middle, it means that an enemies are both in the pool side and back in spawn. So they've given us a little bit more of a favourable spawn there, but it gives us a nice little bit of info that they're both pool side, blocking that P2 spawn, as well as in the depths. So we are pushing through here, sort of expecting people to be watching this because, they're in the back and they were before, and we spawned out, which meant that they were blocking the spawn. So we were sort of playing a bit hastily there. Knowing they'd have spawned P2, I'm sort of knowing they're going to be coming from the side. I also get communication from my team that they're coming through middle as well, so I was able to pick this up and get this kill as well. And then I was just sort of trying to cut off the map here. As you can see, I'm going to draw this again here. With this hill live, they're going to be spawning over here, which means that they've got to pretty much run all the way across here to the hill. And what I'm trying to do from this perspective is to play the cutoff and enable them to have to either get the info of them crossing in this area here, or they're going to have to go around pool and take even longer. But at least I'll be able to get some sort of information. I'll be able to get some damage off on them crossing. So yeah, that's really the thought process behind what's going on there. So as I said, playing the cutoff here, making sure that we're spawning in still, and really trying to play for this new, making sure that we're not completely spawn out. Now, I noticed that a teammate has just died, and I was going back to guarantee the spawn so that the enemy team didn't spawn there. However, our team spawned there, and therefore I just, transferred myself to the hill just to support on the hill itself. Try and get my teammates trade in the back of the old P3, or the second P3, but unfortunately don't manage to stay alive. Now, this hill is a massive money hill. If you rotate to this hill first, you're pretty much going to win. Now, looking back here, the enemy team have all been spawning pretty much here. Now, with the hill popping up here, the easiest route they're going to take, or the most direct route they're going to take to the hill, is either through middle like that, or round to middle. So either way, they're probably going to be hitting you, especially considering I've just seen a teammate spawn up here. So my main focus initially is this U area because they're going to be coming off the spawn here towards this middle side of the map. So that's where you'll see me focus a little bit more than the other areas here. So this is why I'm throwing nades. That's why I'm throwing nades there, because I feel like that's the most likely place they're going to be running to from where they were just spawning. So I see on the minimap there's 3 players there, so I'm trying to play a head glitch there. My whole attention now is on that U. Now, worst case scenario, someone comes up on my left just here, I'm going to know they're there because the hill will be contested. So as long as I watch this area here, making sure enemies can't come through here, and as long as I make sure I'm covered from the left, I'm pretty safe. Yeah, so we play here, get a couple of kills, and I've noticed that our teammates have spawned, where I've just spawned here. Now, the benefit of us spawning here is that they're in a awful spawn trap. Now, on this hill here, if you spawn here, the enemy's team's pretty much just going to be spawning back here. So it's a very much a 50-50 hill. They either run through middle, get to the hill, or they run through here. So realistically, if you're on the hill first, all you have to watch is you and this long line of sight here, and you've pretty much just guaranteed the hill. Thankfully, teammates won the initial gunfights, allowed us to get set up, and we'll see how that plays out. I think I do get a decent few kills here, just because it's so easy. So in short, what I'm trying to press onto you guys here is, as a team, you really want to get to this hill before they do, because otherwise you can end up in a really sticky situation. The spawns are quite sticky here as well, so if you find yourself spawning one side, chances are that's going to be it for the hill. But you can see here my teammate's doing a really nice job of pushing up to the middle, meaning that all I really need to be concerned about is this really long line of sight here, where I'm on a disgusting head glitch, where I can make it as disgusting as I want by moving left into that slope, and it just means that I'm pretty much guaranteed the kills. The only reason they spawned out there is because we got 4 people down, and it meant that it makes spawns really random. So I perhaps should have read that, but I'm not grinded this map too much. Hey, it is what it is. Now, moving on to P2, I'm just going to go through quickly where the spawns are on P1, sorry. So the pillar's up here, and there are back spawns here, which you do not want because P2 is here, but there are also spawns here, back middle, and here. Now, the reason you'll see me really only push-pull steps this side area here, you'll see me just in this area, is so that the enemy team will spawn here. If you keep pushing middle, they're going to keep spawning middle, and it means they've got an easy route to P2 and it eventually pops up. However, because I'm consistently pushing the pool side, it means they're going to be blocked this spawn, and they're likely to spawn over here, which means they've got almost a very similar route, or at least a very similar length route to the new hill from where we're spawning, which makes it a little bit more of a 50-50 hill when P2 eventually does pop. And additionally, you've also got a decent amount of cover towards P1 to help on the current hill. So you'll see in the gameplays, at least that I post on 6-star hardpoint, I'm nearly always pushing up this left-hand side of the map just to guarantee that we get decent spawns for P2, and or at least we don't give them decent spawns for P2. Obviously, it's not ideal if every single one of your team does this, because they're just going to be caught out and you're going to get players here, but you'll just try and see me pretty much try and take control as much as I can here, get this left-hand side here. Now, what will be happening when I'm pushing pool is they're spawning office, so if you are in a 4-stack, you can communicate that. If you're pushing in pool and you're getting kills, your team getting kills, you can communicate to your team that they're going to be spawning office. So if they're hitting old, chances are they're going to be hitting it through you, as if they're rotating, they're pretty much going to have to take a little bit of a long route. So I'm trying to play my life in the situation here. I'm thinking from this position, sorry, I can see pretty much the whole cut of the map, and I'm instead of getting onto the hill myself here, I'm enabling my teammates to be able to push up to this point at least before they engage in people. I'm keeping map control, and I'm just sort of trying to control the area of the hill, waiting for my teammates before I get into it. Unfortunately, this guy baited me a little bit here. I was a little bit, quick to shoot. I get baited left, right, and then he chows left. So that's a fair play to them. I didn't read that play, but hey, it is what it is. We spawn back in. So I'm just looking for kills here. Unfortunately, I do get bad timing on the guy left. I did pre-aim it because I was conscious they were being there. After not seeing them come out initially, I decided to put a trophy down and then just get bad timing. Now, when we're spawning in the back, it essentially means they're going to be spawning where I've just spawned in my previous life, so just pool side. And I'm just trying to cut off any people running through steps here. Just trying to cut off the map as much as possible. Now, what will happen when I'm in pool is they'll either flip towards where I've just spawned, or they'll go even further back into the back spawn of P3. So let me just put this on this diagram here. So whilst P2 is up and we've currently got this back spawn, me being in mid, around here means that they can't spawn here, and they'll actually spawn further deeper here, which means they've got a little bit of a further route towards P2, which means that my teammates have got a little bit of an easier time to pick up the scrap. So it's important to get pushed up the map and spawn the enemy further. The only downside to that is P3 is obviously here, and it means that, say they spawn here, they pretty much spawned on the new hill, which means you're going to have to struggle for gunfights up the new hill, unless none of my team are blocking this one here. If my team have completely left this area of the map open, the enemy team, from me pushing up here, will just end up spawning bottom here, and then we've got a pretty easy route to the new hill. So you'll see I'm trying to be a little bit careful running around this area of the map, trying to pre-aim, and my teammates are just spawned here. So we did actually push the spawns out and flip them out quite nicely here. I ended up sticking a trophy on the new hill, and then get the back spawns. As I said in the last time on this rotation, you really want to fight for these back spawns because it just enables such an easier job at getting to the hill. It's so much closer at this spawn than it is, the P2 spawn. So yeah, this is a nice area to have. Currently, all I'm doing is trying to watch that right alley because Dead have been spawning sort of office side, and an easy rotation for them is to come through statue. I do get the initial spawn there, but I've noticed that my teammates are spawning out. Now, if we remember from earlier on in the video, there are 3 spawns on this hill. You have a spawn here, a spawn back where I am, and a spawn in middle. Now, because we're getting kills and our teammates have just spawned here, and I'm here, this tells me the enemy has to be spawning in the middle. So I'm very cautious that they're going to be really quick to get to me. They're really quick to get to the hill. So I'm just trying to maintain my position here, because if I die, the enemy then get a really easy spawn back here, and they've got a really easy route to the hill. So I'm really trying my life out. I'm communicating to my team that they're spawning middle, and I know that because of my position and when my teammates have just spawned. So expect gunfights, and as a result, my teammates managed to push mid, pick up a kill. Does get traded, but at least we've left that P2 spawn open, and they're now going to be spawning in the depths. We've secured the close spawn by playing a life here, and we've done enough damage to make them spawn absolutely way far out. Now, somehow died to that cruise missile. I think my ass must have been hanging out the other side of that wall, but it's not the end of the world. We've helped the teammates for some scrap here. Now, the reason I fought for that scrap is to spawn them even further out. Now, Dead have been spawning at the same time my teammates rotated here, so I'm not too concerned about them spawning behind me because my teammates, far enough back to be blocking that spawn. So they're going to spawn all the way over here, over in this area as this hill pops. It's going to be the exact same situation as what's happened before, and that's the only reason I played for that 15 seconds of scrap. It makes it really unpredictable if we don't challenge this hill. When they do there were 2 enemies here. If they do end up both getting kills, we've then got to be cautious of enemies spawning here as well as flooding out of ult. So you've got to watch every entrance if that's left open. So I challenged that few last seconds. I think there's 15 seconds left of that hill, just to guarantee the enemy spawning back here, making it a little bit more of a readable situation running into the new hill. So we pick up a couple kills. Obviously, I know where they're going to be coming from because I know where they've just spawned. So it's a couple of cuts there really easily. My teammates got that whole right-hand side of office. And again, we know where they're spawning. They're not coming from the side where we just were. So they're going to be coming from you. As again, my main focus is going to be on you. It's a very similar situation to the first rotation on P4. So yeah, my main focus is here. My teammates sort of watching the long route. And it makes for some very easy kills. A little bit of a 3-piece there. Wasn't all quite on the kill feed at the same time. So yeah. So my teammates pretty much communicating to me. You can see the green teammate on my minimap there. They have top office. They're watching anyone running down waterfall or hitting top office, and they're just getting fed. Mates getting fed kills here. It's great kills out of him. And because we're getting a few enemies down at a time, I'm very cautious they might spawn here. So I'm sort of checking, getting hill time, making sure that we're securing, and just making sure that we can't get pinched. Now I notice my teammate has literally just spawned there, so I go to try and help my teammate here if possible. Unfortunately, it wasn't communicated to me that he'd left that watch, so they were able to get down waterfall quite easily. I was a bit surprised they were there, to be fair, but they do end up killing me. But I do get traded out, and we do get a decent amount of hill time at the old hill. Now again, you'll see a pattern forming here. P1's popping, and I'm trying to control the water, the pool side of the hill, just because it makes the push to P2 fairly easy, whilst being able to maintain decent head glitches towards the current P1. My teammate has just spawned out, which tells me that an enemy team won't be coming from P2 here, so I don't really need to waste my time pushing that left-hand side. I've already got spawned, so at this point, my decision-making is now pretty much just getting this current hill time. I get an initial pick, throw a nade off, try and get some damage out, thinking they're going to sprint at me. Fortunately, I do get traded by him. I get the grenade kill as well, so I got my own trade, isn't too bad. But teammates are getting some really nice kills here. And yeah, I'm just sort of playing for these kills. get the final kill. There's 7 seconds left. One more player up, and that's 4 down. And that's pretty much game, guys. So, as I said, wasn't the most impressive game for me, but I hope you can understand how fundamentally we played there to give us the best chances of winning. Also, let me know what you think about bringing the attack map into this, as well as the face cam for the voiceover views, because I like the constructive criticism, as I say, and I hope you enjoyed the less cuts in this gameplay as well. We're learning. We're hoping to make this a better experience for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Ciao for now.